Hi, folks. My name's Mike Warren. I'm the president of Nature's Animal Products, and we sell a product that is made for horses. Um, I work with the product at the racetrack here in California with thoroughbreds, and we nebulize the product, and it just does some amazing thing for the horses. But I just want to get that off the at the beginning because that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to introduce you to Bryanna. Now pronounce it if I'm right. Tanase?
Tanase.
Tanase. Okay.
Yeah.
Bryanna Tanase. I'm just going to call her Bryanna from here on out. And Bryanna has a really, really cool story. I was really excited when I was learning about you and I was reading about what you've done and just some amazing things. You're an amazing, amazing person. So with that, Bryanna is, correct me if I'm wrong, because a lot of this terminology may not be politically correct or whatever. That's just not who I am. I'm just going to tell you like I say it. And if it
Yeah.
offends anybody, so be it. Okay. But please do correct me.
Yeah.
I don't want to offend you with anything I might say either. So please just slap me if I do something wrong.
Yeah.
um, uh, so, Bryanna, the way I understand it, you're paraplegic. Is that what it's called?
So that's actually a common misconception. A lot of
Okay,
people
good.
think that um people that are in wheelchairs have paraplegia. Um Obviously there are, but my specific disability is called cerebral palsy. It's caused by a brain injury that occurs before, during, or after birth, and people with my disability have all different levels of mobility. Some of us use a wheelchair full time, others of us can walk, some of us need to alternate between using a wheelchair and other assistive devices. It just all depends. And I use my wheelchair because walking is very physically taxing for me. Even just taking a few steps is very like energy and physically draining, so using a wheelchair helps me um navigate the world without exhausting my body when it's not necessary.
That's cool. Okay, so you actually could walk a little bit if you had enough energy, so to speak. Is that right?
Yes,
Okay.
I can walk some steps either by holding on to someone or using a walker. I mainly do it for like exercise or like um loosening certain muscles though. If I tried to do it on a like regular basis and walk around everywhere, it just wouldn't be feasible for me.
Yeah, yeah. No, I get that. I can imagine it must be. So you were born with cerebral palsy, is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And so your parents probably, I don't know, maybe they did or didn't understand all that. I can't imagine. I have three boys myself, so I can't imagine finding that out, and knowing what to do. I'm sure they dug right in. So right from the beginning, have you always been in a wheelchair when you were a child, or?
Yes, as far as I can remember, I've had a wheelchair. When I was younger, I was a lot more mobile. But I've had surgeries as I've gotten older, like spinal fusion, and other things that have kind of reduced my mobility and caused me to rely on the wheelchair more, even though they've helped release my bodily tone, which makes sitting and moving around more comfortable. But I have to use a wheelchair now more often because my mobility uh, decreased as I got older from the surgeries.
Okay, so now we're getting to the cool part. Now we're going to talk about what you do for our company, but our love, our common love, and that's the horse. And
Yes.
what brought us to you? We saw you in an ad. Okay, I'll back up a step. We hired, I think was it about 6 months ago? We probably hired you, something like that.
I want to say that, yes.
Okay.
It's a little bit hard to remember, but I think that's accurate.
We had a need for our social media to grow, and we're a little small company. And Bryanna fit the bill, and she's just honestly, you've done some amazing things. I knew you had a disability, but I didn't know what it was when we hired you. But that didn't matter. Your everything you gave us was just off the charts. It was really good. But you're running our websites and you're running our social media. You're kind of a social media manager for us, for all things animals, nature, animal, nature's animal products. And
Yeah.
we have a human product, and that's alternative health concepts, but we're not going to talk about that today. Um, so you went into the social media. So you love horses. I know that. I love horses. And that's where our commonality really comes into play because now we have something in common, horses that we love. And that's what I really, really want to talk to you about today. So take us through, I guess, your journey to where what got you to where you're at right now. From what I read, it started when you were quite young, your love of horses, huh?
Yes, it has been a lifelong love of mine. Um, the earliest memory I have of being around a horse was when I went on a preschool field trip with my sisters. I was homeschooled at the time, but I got to go on a field trip with them to a farm and I saw a pony there and I didn't really know what it was, but I knew that I liked it. And since then I've loved horses. Um, and I grew up wanting to ride them, but I wasn't able to start doing it till I turned 18 or so. My parents got me a couple lessons at a local therapeutic riding center, and
Nice.
I the love just grew from there.
That's awesome. Okay, so now you find yourself riding horses. Now you do it weekly, monthly. What's your schedule with the horses?
I try to have a lesson every weekend because it's really important for me to spend as much time in the saddle as I can to maintain my skill set and also work on things that I'm practicing. I unfortunately don't own my own horse, so I rely on the kindness of others um,
Nice.
to give me the opportunity to take lessons and ride their horses. Um, but I try to go once a week. Yep.
Okay, good. So tell us now what kind of writing you actually have gotten into and are doing because it amazes me because I look at these people. I'll let you explain it, but I look at what you do and I think this is amazing that anybody can do that, period, let alone have a disability and do it.
Sure. So the type of riding that I participate in is called para dressage. It is the, excuse me, um, I would say disabled people's equivalent to the sport, the able-bodied sport of dressage. If you've ever watched dressage, you know how technical it can be, and what these people do. Um, and we are held to a lot of the same standards that the able-bodied riders are. Um, the paradressage is just helps level the playing field for people with disabilities because there's 5 different grades um, within the sport that are based on um, the severity of one's disability. Grade 1 is for the people that are the most physically impaired, and grade 5 is the closest to able-bodied dressage. I'm a grade 1 paradressage rider, um, which means I have access to a lot more compensating aids to help me in competition. And I only compete at the walk because of my physical disability. And when I tell people that, they think that it's easy because I'm just walking on the horse, right? But they make it hard for us since we're only walking. We work in a smaller arena and our tests have a lot of complicated movements to them to make it more difficult. just because we're walking doesn't mean it's not, or doesn't mean it's easy, I should say.
Yeah. Okay, so, for those of the people that may be watching this that aren't into horses, they know what horseback riding is and they know what horse racing is or whatever. Dressage is a very, very complicated, precise movement exercise when the rider is basically, I guess, I would say it's like you're dancing with the horse in a sense.
Yes, that's how I would describe it too.
Okay, cool, cool. So tell me just a little bit because I don't know anything about dressage. I'm not going to pretend sit here and think I do, but when you say you're walking around, what are you doing with the horses? Because normally I know that people that ride horses have to use their legs to help them ride, and you
Sure,
don't have that ability. So what exactly are you doing with the horse?
sure. So in a dressage test, for example, we use the letters of the arena to plan our movements, as well as we have to execute certain movements at them. So for example, doing a 10-meter circle at the letter H in the arena, um, because I don't have use of my legs in order to execute turns or more difficult movements, I use a whip as an extension of my leg. Now, in a lot of cases, that just means I'm holding it and using it to remind the horse to continue to go forward. It is
Uh-huh.
not like I don't use it in a harsh way. I know
Right.
a lot of people look at whips as like a bad tool, but I need it because I don't have the strength in my legs that, for example, someone would have to um, execute um, inside leg to outside rein to get more bend in turns, for example.
So you actually use the whip? You tap the horse sometimes, or is it mostly just showing the horse the whip, or how does that work?
Most of the time, it's just holding it. If I need to tap them, I'll just give them a gentle tap their on the croup or on their backside, just
Sure.
to let them know, hey, I need you to keep going.
Yeah,
It just Horses are really sensitive, so just the smallest movement will give enough to them to let them know what you need.
that's cool. Yeah, I was watching a show on TV. I can't remember. I think it was Yellowstone, I believe. And I'm not sure, but anyway, the guy was talking about somebody riding a horse, and he said that horse can feel a horsefly land on its rear end, and that horse knows what's about to come if it tries to bite him. So those
Yeah.
horses are just amazing animals. I work with horses myself, and I get to work with them 3 or 4 days a week. And we treat the horses by nebulizing them with our product, BioPro Armor. And I
Mhm.
swear to you, and I know you know this, but those horses, they know what I'm thinking. They know me because I see the same horses 3 or 4 days a week, and I give every horse I treat a carrot after I'm done. So they all love me. They see me come around the corner, they get all excited that, hey, their buddy's here. It is so
Yep,
cool. They are
they are.
amazing,
They
amazing
are.
animals. Yeah, that's so neat. Now, do you ride the same horse each time, or you ride different horses?
Right now, I do ride the same 2 horses. If anything were to happen where, for example, a horse retired or they got injured or any situation like that, I would have to be on a different horse, but I try to be on the same horse as much as possible because it's beneficial for me as well as them because each horse has to get used to the way that I ride because it's different from the standard
Yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah. Cool. So, is there what you said it was a special park you go to, or a special arena, or something like?
So I divide my time between 2 different facilities. The first is a equine assisted therapy center called Quantum Leap Farm, and they were the ones that really helped me start my journey into riding, and they gave me all the tools I needed to learn the basics, and I still work with them now, and they do everything they can to help me achieve the goals that I want and help me practice. And then I also go to a dressage barn in Ocala called LCH Equestrian. The head trainer there, her name is Lisa Helmer, and she's actually a, a silver paradressage coach, so she knows all the ins and outs of the sport and is helping me learn more of the technical skills and improve my geometry so that I can do better on the tests, because being precise and accurate during a dressage test is everything to getting a good score.
Yes, I can imagine. I've got a you're in Florida, I guess. I'm in the West Coast.
Yes.
We're out here in California, so it's like our climates are similar. Like today it was 85 degrees today. It's probably similar where you're at. I don't know. But the one thing I know is, are there these kind of facilities around the United States for other disabled riders that would like to get involved, maybe that have never heard of this?
Yes, there are therapeutic riding centers across the country, or equine assisted therapy centers. You can call them both ways. And then
Okay.
as far as dressage facilities, I know there's several centers of excellence that the um, US Equestrian Federation has designated to help new para-dressage riders, and there aren't very many of those, but they do exist across the country as well. If you don't live close to one, like me, you can just I was lucky enough to find Lisa, and she's very supportive. So if you're able to find someone who's willing to support you on your journey that isn't necessarily uh, fully invested in paradressage, so to speak, like they run a regular lesson barn or what have you, you can also achieve those goals as well with their help. It just takes finding the right people.
Gotcha. Now, in reading about you, some of the website, you're pretty famous, actually. I think you know that.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I just put in your name in Google and boom, there you are all over the
Yeah.
page, you know. So it was easy for me to do a little research on you. One of the things I found fascinating, I'd love you to talk about, if it's even still an option for you, but you talked about Olympics and the Olympic team. And tell me about that. Is it something
Yes.
different than the Olympics, or is it the Olympics?
My goal is to compete internationally as well as compete at the Paralympics. Um I've always wanted to reach the Paralympic level. I um found videos of some of the well-known US riders at a young age, and I saw them and I was like, if they're doing that, then I can do it too. So it's
Oh,
been my goal ever since I was young to compete internationally and at the Paralympics. I
fantastic.
want to be I want to be one of the top riders in the US if I can for my sport. Um, it's definitely been a challenging journey, but I haven't given up and I don't intend to.
Oh, that's awesome. I just commend you for that, and I applaud you for it too. It's just it's fantastic. I can't imagine. You know, I was competitive. My boys were competitive in football. I coached football, but I can't imagine having a disability and then trying to do it, combine it with another living animal, and getting those two factors, yourself and that animal, to join together and to go forward. Um, Now, how often are competitions? Do you compete against other people, or is it pretty much yourself?
So, the competition schedule is a little bit different. They do have a what's called a virtual judging program where you can submit tests that you film at home to be uh judged by a recognized judge, um, so that you can get scores without having to physically go to a competition. Then several times throughout the year, um, the U.S. Equestrian Federation will update their website with paradressage competitions. Their the formal name is a CPEDI, and they're international competitions, but even people that aren't necessarily ready to compete at the international level can still compete tests of their choice if they register for the right class as well. Um, and then there's also the option if a able-bodied dressage show in your area offers a test of choice class, you can also compete a paradressage class or a paradressage test as well. So there's different options to do it. Um, personally haven't gotten to compete much yet, but that's what I'm working towards now.
Compete with other people in the arena type of thing, or just
Yes,
it's okay,
yes.
nice, nice.
I want to go to my first in-person show this year. I've done a couple virtual ones, but I haven't necessarily gotten qualifying scores yet. So my goal is to compete in person and finally receive some of the qualifying scores that I need.
So talk to me a little bit about, if you don't mind, about the money that it takes for you to do this. I mean, for you to
Sure.
I know I have a good friend that's a hunter jumper, and I know what it takes for them to compete on a pretty high level, and it's pretty intense and it's very expensive.
Yes. So because I haven't gone to or haven't planned for a show yet, I'm not too sure what the overall costs will be for me. But I know personally right now, I pay around $300 a month just for lessons. And then when I submit to the virtual judging program, whenever I decide to do that next, it's $15 per test each time you want to submit one. So that can add up. Um,
Yeah.
and those are the costs that I know right now from my experience, but I do know, yes, it's very expensive and it is a bit of a barrier.
Yeah, sure. Well, and then the transportation, I don't know if the gal that owns the horses that you ride, if they would be willing to ship them somewhere, if you would ride those same horses, or how all that would work. It'd be interesting. I think we need to
Yes,
start
so
a GoFund or whatever they call that and raise some money for you.
yeah, I once I figure out what show I'm going to, I plan on doing that because I'm definitely gonna need help to get there. I've been saving some on my own, um, but I don't know if it's enough.
Well, yeah, no, I actually am serious about that. We can talk after this is over, sometime here in the near future, but maybe we should start a GoFundMe type program for you to start raising money for that. I would be excited. I wanna know where it's at, and my wife and I are gonna come out and see you perform. I'm excited.
Okay.
I'm putting a little
It's
pressure on you.
Oh, I'm working on it, trust me. Um, I wanted to, I don't exactly know when because we've kind of had a lot of things get in the way of me training consistently, but I've started to become a little bit more consistent now. And I don't want to rush into anything because there's nothing worse that, I mean, obviously, if you wait too long to be ready for something, then you'll never be ready. But I don't want to. Uh, rush myself into
Sure.
competing just because I know I have to get scores. I want to make sure I actually feel ready to do it and I
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
take my time to improve um before presenting myself because it just wouldn't feel right to me if I went out there and only gave 50%, you know?
Absolutely. No, I see myself in you because I'm a lot older than you, number one. I'm 66, so I'm an old man. But I've done enough things in my life where I know what you're talking about because if I didn't feel ready, then I just didn't feel like I could do it. But at the same time, at a certain point, Bryanna, you're going to get there and you're going to know that you need to do it. Even you're not going to ever feel 100% ready. I can promise you that. I know that.
Yep.
You just won't.
Like, right. I remember on my last big lesson, I was drilling different sizes of circles and getting them right both directions. And I could feel myself getting better at it. And I'm like, okay, I understand this a little bit more now. So that's less intimidating. So as I start to kind of break down each piece, it'll get easier. And then my trainer and I together will come up with when um, that first show will be, hopefully soon.
Sure. Sure.
Mhm.
And I imagine the facility that you train at probably has donors and stuff that raise money for folks like yourself. I don't know that. I don't know if that's the case or not. But I
Um,
I think we're gonna come up with something for you. I promise you.
okay. Well, I appreciate that very much. It means a lot to me.
No, it means a lot to me. I just this little bit of time we've spent together, I can tell that you're a very determined person. I see what you've done with our business. Tell the people a little bit, just take a minute, not too much, but what you actually do for our company.
Sure. So, as the social media manager, I currently um, plan out all the posts for each week and I create them and schedule them. And I also, because I love to write, I also write all the blog posts for the blog as well. And
And
I try to come up with
they're fantastic, by the way.
relevant content.
They're yeah,
Um,
sorry to interrupt, but they are fantastic. People
it's
can read our
okay.
posts, and I don't know if you put them on your site. You should, but I hope more people are seeing them. But it'll grow. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, I hope it does too. I try my best to make the posts interesting that people will want to look at them. I know it's hard at the beginning, but I hope we can get to the point where more people see it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna do some things in the future that will help our little company grow in the social media arena. And you're gonna be a big part of that. I'd love to see you making more money than you're making instead of a little side job. Tell us about yourself and your education. You're quite you're quite gifted educationally from what I've seen and heard.
Sure.
I don't know it, but I would like to hear it.
So, I have a bachelor's in cell and molecular biology from the University of South Florida, and I graduated magna cum laude. And
Wow.
I also have a master's in healthcare administration from South University.
That's fantastic. That is fantastic. And you have a full-time job on top of all this.
Yes, I work for a company called Insurance Administrative Solutions. And I help do data entry because we're a third party administrator for different um in Medicare supplement insurance carriers. So my job is essentially to review new applications and enter them into the system and make sure we have all the relevant information so that the underwriters can then um, do their part of the process.
Excellent, excellent. Now, I know that my father is a veterinarian, and you've been interviewing him. You've been on my side of what we're doing right now.
Yes,
Every week, you've been talking to him, ask the vet, and
yes.
we get some feedback. You talked about different subjects. We want to get to that point where we're actually having these sessions instead of being recorded like we're doing now, will be live so that customers and people interested can come on and ask you questions. In this case, or me questions about our product, whatever it may be. So that's something that we're really shooting for. We're gonna try and get to that point. We're excited about that as well. We've got a lot of stuff going. We just got to make it happen.
Yeah, interviewing Dr. Oren has been super fun. I know I find it really educational as a horse person that may not know as much about the care side because I'm not personally responsible for a horse myself, but it is really helpful to learn about all those things. And I do have, basic knowledge and awareness, but it is really nice to be able to learn more about different topics.
Yeah, it's cool, and you've done a great job interviewing. I don't know if you've ever thought you'd be interviewing people like that, but you do really good. I really like it.
No, I didn't think I would be. Being on camera is something that I'm still getting used to.
Oh, you're
I'm
great.
naturally very introverted, but I have gotten used to talking because of all the stuff that I've done, sharing my own story as well. So it's
Sure,
become easier, even though it's something that's still a little bit difficult sometimes.
sure, sure, and it's hard being where you're at right now because talking about yourself is not easy. I mean, we all
Yes.
know ourselves better than anybody, but it's tough to talk about it sometimes. So I really
Especially
appreciate
because my personal journey is so multifaceted and there's so many different things I could talk about that it's a little bit difficult to know how much detail to give
yeah.
in a certain situation. Like sometimes I'm not sure if I answer the question as well as I should have because I'm not 100% sure how much to say.
Sure. Sure. No, I
So,
get it. But you know what? If you just be yourself and just talk like we're talking now, best thing
yeah.
to do. There's no right or wrong, is there? And that's what I think I like that about social media more than anything. It's just there isn't a right or wrong. Some people are going to like you. Some people are going to think you're an idiot. I mean, I know people think I'm an idiot inside and out, but it doesn't matter to me because I just go along and I talk to people like you. I talk to people that are like-minded. In this case, love horses. And you know what? It doesn't matter about your politics or anything like none of that matters. Is all that
Right.
matters is our love for horses, and it's so
Yeah.
exciting.
It is. Horses are very special to me. They've helped me get through a lot of very difficult things in my life, and they've become such a huge part of my identity that I really don't know who I would be without them. Like, of course, I have all kinds of interests outside of them, but they're my passion and the one thing that really gets me up in the morning and gets me excited about life and helps me continue to be motivated to do all the things that I'm doing. So,
Uh,
yes, horses are so important to me.
that's fantastic, Brianna. I think it's probably a good place to end this video. I'd like to carry it on again. I think we can maybe bring up a subject or two of more specifics about dressage and what you do, and
Sure.
maybe even get some videos of what you're doing and all that we can share with the people. And
Sure, and I can definitely, if you want more of a breakdown of where I've gone and how I've gotten to where I am now, I can definitely put something together so that we have something more concrete because I know I just barely scratched the surface
yeah.
here, but
No, I can
I
tell
figure
that.
that
I
would be
know
helpful too.
I agree. Barely scratch the surface is the right thing. I would love to know more. I want to know more about it, and we'll see where this goes. I would love to get our product. Our product's pretty much in the thoroughbred racehorse business right now because my father was a
Mm-hmm.
veterinarian at the racetrack here in Southern
Yep.
California. So, but he's been all around the world with buying horses for people and checking horses for people. He's done it all. Um, and he's going to be 89 next month. I mean, it's getting crazy. He's getting up there, but it doesn't matter. He just keeps ticking, you know. He
Yeah,
says your body rusts out before you wear out, so he's rusting out a little bit, but that's okay. He's good at it.
yeah, I can tell he loves what he does, and that's so important.
Absolutely, absolutely loves it. Well, Tiana, listen, or Tiana, Brianna, I appreciate you being here with us. I appreciate your time. I'm really excited about moving forward about what I was talking about. I think if you want to do it, I think we're gonna figure out a way to raise some money. And hey, our little company will be able to pay you more as we grow as well. So there's that too. But that's your work, and I appreciate that. I'm talking about
Sure.
money to get you into the competition arena.
Yeah, um, honestly, when I first, got the opportunity to work with BioPro Armor, the main reason why I wanted to do it was to be able to understand social media more and use the basics of what I know from my personal accounts to help someone else. I know I'm not a professional in it by any means, but I hope that at least my passion for horses and the industry as a whole shows through the content that I've been putting up. Uh, and it just means a lot that I'm able to help.
No, it means a lot to us, and we really, really sincerely, I really sincerely mean this. We appreciate all your efforts that you put forward for us, and we're just getting started, so we're excited about it. I think we're gonna grow big. I think we're gonna grow far and long, and all there's so many different variations of horses that need our product and you're gonna be able to help grow that. It's not gonna be just dressage, it's not gonna be just racing. There's barrel racing, there's rodeo, there's all kinds of there's
Yeah,
hunter
all
jumpers. All,
disciplines.
yeah, all the disciplines need it, and our product is good for everybody. So, and all humans as well. So, listen, I appreciate
Yeah.
your time. Thank you for coming on and sharing. Um, I hope you share it on your site as well. You should
Yes.
let
Yes,
all
I
your people
will.
know. Let all your people
I
know about
will.
you. Okay, great.
And if you want to follow my personal journey from my social media, you can find me at BT Paradressage on Instagram, and then my Facebook is just my name. So
Okay, just your name on Facebook. And,
yeah,
and what was it? What was it on Instagram?
BT dot Paradressage.
Dressage. Okay, perfect. Excellent. Yeah, I'm gonna go follow you and get on those and get going there for sure. Um, anything last you'd like to say as we leave? Anything that you
Um, I just like to say thank you to everybody for taking time out of your day to watch this, even if it wasn't necessarily the most polished time of me sharing my journey. I hope that it was at least somewhat informative. I definitely want to get the chance to share more and hopefully make it a little bit more clear. Um,
Oh,
but I really appreciate your time today.
thank you. Thank you very much. And you know what? I thought it was perfectly clear. I enjoyed every minute of it. So that's what counts, right?
Yeah,
For
that's what counts.
absolutely. Well, have a great evening. I know it's late there for your on your side of the world, and we'll talk to you soon, Brianna.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you. We'll talk soon. Bye bye.
Bye.